On a bright sunny day at a beautiful beach, a little black bug came crawling out of the sand. As he wandered around, something caught his eye. A shiny, delicious-looking donut lying near a seashell. Excited, the bug rushed over, sniffed it, and gave it a tiny lick. Sweet, he said to himself. He tried to carry it home, but the donut was way too heavy for his tiny legs. Still, he didn't give up and started dragging it slowly through the sand. 3 flies sitting nearby noticed him. They buzzed and giggled. Look at that little guy, trying to steal a donut all by himself. When the bug passed in front of them, the flies zoomed down, surrounded him, and snatched the donut away. The poor black bug could only stand there, staring in shock as his sweet dream flew away. But someone else was watching, a clever beach beetle hiding behind a shell. The beetle chuckled and thought, let's have some fun. He quickly made a fake donut out of sand, perfectly round, topped with a sprinkle of seashell dust. When the flies landed to eat the real donut, the beetle shouted, "Hey, you guys, that one's old. There's a fresh donut over here." The flies zoomed over to the new donut and started munching, only to realize their mouths were full of sand. What is this? Meanwhile, the clever beetle swooped down, grabbed the real donut, and called the little black bug over. Come on, buddy, let's share this one together. Happily nibbling the donut. One fine day in the jungle, a lonely box of peas fell from somewhere and landed on the ground. A curious little spider spotted it and thought, ooh, treasure. She scurried over and tried to open it, so she grabbed a pebble and whacked it. Nothing. She frowned, muttered something about cheap packaging, and fetched a bigger rock. Thud. Still nothing. Now she was mad. She brought an entire collection of rocks, big ones, small ones, emotional support ones, and launched a full-scale attack. After hours of effort, the spider spotted a massive boulder and dropped it on the box. Nope, not even a dent. By now she was sweating. Do spiders sweat? And yelled, fine, gravity, do your thing. She shoved the box off a cliff. It tumbled down dramatically and landed softly on a pile of leaves. Still closed, defeated but not broken, she dragged the stubborn box all the way to the road, panting like she'd just run a marathon. Let's see you survive this, she said, placing it right in the middle of the road. A car came flying by and squished the box flat. Peas exploded everywhere, so in the end, the peas got pureed, the spider got pancaked. One sunny day, a little caterpillar was climbing up a big green leaf, minding her own business. Suddenly, boing, the leaf bent down, and before she knew it, she went flying through the air like a tiny superhero. Wee thud. She landed far, far away. A little later, a slow and squishy snail crawled onto the same leaf. But guess what? Hiding behind the stem was a naughty grasshopper. He was pushing the leaf down with his leg and letting it go, boing, just to watch everyone go flying. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. Hee, leaf launch time, he giggled. Then 2 little bugs showed up. The grasshopper grinned and, boing, sent them zooming through the air too. But this time, the bugs were not laughing. Oh no, they were mad. The bugs came back with a plan. Let's show that jumpy jerk how it feels, they whispered. They grabbed the plant, bent it way down, and while the grasshopper was sitting on top, they let go. Sproing. The grasshopper flew so high he saw clouds. He landed right in the middle of a herd of cows and swatted him with her tail. Whack. Straight into a big, squishy pile of cow poop. And that's how the mischievous grasshopper learned a very stinky lesson. It was a freezing winter day, Christmas morning in full chill. On a dry old tree hung a shriveled apple, and inside it, a tiny caterpillar was fast asleep. But suddenly, the apple fell to the ground and broke open. The poor caterpillar lost his cozy home and started shivering in the cold. Looking for warmth, he crawled toward a nearby house. Through the glass window, he saw a glowing fireplace inside. Just then, his friend, a little fly, arrived too. Both were freezing but excited to see the warm fire. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. The man living in the house opened the door and saw the dried apple lying outside. Thinking it was just trash, he picked it up and threw it into the dustbin inside the house. But guess what? The caterpillar and the fly were hiding inside that apple. Once the man left, they quietly crawled out of the bin and moved toward the fireplace. The fly found a piece of chocolate candy, and the caterpillar found a brand new warm home near the fire. If you like this cute caterpillar and his little fly friend, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more ant revenge. Cherry blossom in a beautiful flower garden. There was a pile of peas. An ant had been collecting them because a pecan had fallen nearby, and she was building a big mountain of peas. After stacking them, the ant went back to bring more peas. But a sneaky fly was secretly watching her. The fly took one pea from the mountain, and the whole pile collapsed. The ant came back, saw the mess, and felt really sad that all her hard work was ruined, while the fly laughed quietly. And still, the ant didn't give up. She started rebuilding the mountain again. But when she left to fetch more peas, the fly returned and pulled out another pea, breaking the pile again. Pouting face this time, the ant got angry and walked away, while the fly kept watching her with a wicked smile. Lady Beetle suddenly, the ant's friend, a bug, appeared. He dropped peas from the can right on top of the fly, burying her under the pile. The ant was happy, gave one pea to her bug friend as a thank you gift, and the bug walked away. Meanwhile, the fly was stuck under the mountain of peas, getting exactly what she deserved. In a jungle, there was a beautiful garden filled with yellow flowers, and in that garden lived a colony of bees. One cool morning, a gentle breeze was blowing, and all the bees flew out of their hive together. It was a lovely sight to see. They buzzed around happily, landing on the blooming flowers to collect nectar. But one little bee was late leaving the hive. When she finally arrived at the garden, she found that every flower she went to was already covered with other bees. No matter where she went, she couldn't find a single flower to collect nectar from. Feeling disappointed, the bee noticed a newspaper lying in a dustbin nearby. On it, she saw an advertisement. After reading it, she got an idea. She decided to leave the garden and fly toward the city. Following the signboards along the way, she finally reached the city and flew through the busy streets until she found a flower shop. The shop was full of all kinds of beautiful flowers. Seeing them, the little bee was overjoyed. She began collecting nectar from every different flower in the shop. When she was done, she flew back home to the hive. All the other bees were surprised to see her return with so much nectar. The clever bee smiled, went inside the hive, and finally took a peaceful rest. One day, there was going to be a race for all the bugs. First, a group of dragonflies flew from the pond toward the racetrack. Then, a group of bees came out of their hive and also headed toward the race field. Seeing this, some wasps left their nest and followed them to the race ground. Next, a snail slowly started making its way to the racetrack. After that, a group of flies also flew toward the race area. Finally, a team of bugs joined in and headed to the race field to participate too. All the bugs gathered at the starting line. The referee was an ant. She climbed up high to start the race and blew the whistle. The race began. Everyone dashed forward, but the snail was still at the starting line. All the bugs were giving it their all to win the race, while the snail was still slowly moving ahead. Suddenly, the bug cheated and pushed the dragonfly, causing it to lose balance and fall. The remaining 4 bugs kept moving ahead, crossing through the field. But then, the bee crashed into a pile of hay and fell down too. The snail was still slowly making progress. Out of the remaining 3, the wasp hit a rock and also fell. Now the race was between the fly and the bug. Both were doing everything they could to beat each other. But then, the fly hit a rock on the side of the path and fell. The bug started mocking the fly, but then ran into a signboard and crashed as well. Just then, the ant saw that the snail had been moving slowly and steadily and was now about to reach the finish line. The snail crossed the line and won the race. All the snails started celebrating the big win. The Great Ant Adventure Cherries Ant. One fine afternoon, a fancy dining table was loaded with delicious food. Suddenly, out of nowhere, came a tiny but mighty ant. She started climbing up the side of the glass, her little legs slipping like someone trying to run on ice. Halfway up, she lost her grip and splat. Down she went. But this wasn't just any ant. Oh no, this was a motivational speaker in ant form. She dusted herself off and said, "I didn't come this far just to quit at the juice." So she tried again. Finally, with one heroic leap worthy of an action movie, she landed right on the straw like it was her personal elevator to glory. From there, she spotted her dream. That juicy red cherry. Her eyes sparkled like, "Oh yeah, that's dinner." She jumped from the straw straight onto the cherry. She bonked right into the cherry and bounced off it, landing with a plop on an ice cube. Now she was surfing like a pro, floating around the juice like a tiny bug-sized ship captain. But our ant was unstoppable, this time landing perfectly on the cherry. With one powerful shove, she pushed the cherry right out of the glass. And our ant slid down the glass like a tiny superhero, making a dramatic exit. At last, she reached her prize. She stood beside the cherry like a conqueror and took a big, victorious bite.